Om Shanti. In today's Murli, Baba says something very interesting, and that is also a question that many people ask sometimes. I don't know whether you have ever had that question or not, but there are many who ask that if somebody embraces purity, then do they not go to heaven? Do they not go to the golden age? Even if they don't become a Brahmin, even if they don't listen to the Murli, they just stay pure like the sannyasis. Will they not go to heaven? That's a question many ask. And Baba in the Murlis has often explained that heaven is an inheritance from Baba. Yes, heaven is the legacy you get or the inheritance you get because you belong to your Father. And until and unless you take that inheritance from Shiv Baba through Brahma Baba, that is, if you don't become a Brahmin, you don't become a Devta. So until you take inheritance from Shiv Baba through Brahma Baba, you cannot go to heaven. That's something Baba says in many Murlis. And today Baba very categorically says something. Let's read it. Baba says, sweet children, you become pure by following Shrimat of the Purifier Father. And this is how you receive the kingdom of the pure world. Those who become pure by following their own dictates do not attain anything. So Baba says, when you become pure by following the Shrimat of the Purifier Father, then you receive the kingdom of the world, of the pure world. And those who become pure, just because they want to become pure, not because Baba told them to become pure, they don't receive anything. They don't become the masters of the pure world. Now, there is a reason why you call Baba the purifier, Patit Pavan. Yes? And if it was possible to become pure without Baba, then there would be no praise of Baba. Yes? So there is a reason why Baba is called the purifier. And there is a reason why only when you become pure by following the Shrimat of Shiv Baba can you attain the kingdom of heaven. And what is that reason? So you see that how many of you have embraced purity? When you came to Baba, you became pure. You embraced purity. You embraced a celibate lifestyle, purity of food, purity of thought, word, and action. Yes, so there are a few who are writing in the chat box that yes, I did that. And there are others who are on the path. Yes. Now, I will tell you that why embracing purity becomes attainable and easy by following Srimad. You see that before Shiv Baba came, purity was a taboo subject. And nobody ever thought, nobody could ever envision that a householder would embrace celibacy and purity and attempt to not only become celibate but also become free from attachment. So nobody thought that people who live in families would embrace purity. And why is it so that after Baba came, there are lakhs of BKs, there are lakhs of Baba's children who embrace purity very naturally. And the reason is, Baba doesn't ask you to just become pure. So Baba changes your consciousness of who you are. And the way to successfully change your behavior is to change your consciousness. Now let's understand the connection between consciousness and behavior. Now you see there is a Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and everybody is being asked to keep the public places clean and anywhere you're sitting clean. But it becomes so difficult to enforce. Yes, and it's very difficult. And I will tell you one incident where there was a meeting about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and there was this person who was presiding at the meeting, and then after the meeting was over, bananas were served in that meeting, so he just ate one banana and just threw the peel there itself. And he was presiding over that meeting. So what I want to tell you is, a simple thing like cleanliness, keeping your surroundings clean, becomes so difficult to enforce. Why? Why? And let's compare it with a situation where you live in a house and you clean it every day. Yes, you live in a house and the government doesn't even instruct you to clean it every day, but you do it anyway. Yes, nobody has to teach you to keep your house clean. So you understand the value of cleanliness. But once you understand that this is my house, you clean it. And when you don't understand that this is my country, you don't keep it clean. Yes, it is your country. It is your living space. It is your world. Not even country. This is your world. And when you understand that the planet belongs to you, then the sense of belonging will make it very natural. So this is what I mean by the shift in consciousness. When we say consciousness, it is that sense of who I am and who I belong to, or what belongs to me. And also the sense of who I am. So if somebody has a sense that I am the intelligent one in the whole group, then they do not wait for another person to behave intelligently. They take the leadership and do the intelligent thing in that group. Because you understand you are the intelligent one there. And in the Murli today, Baba says that only Baba is called Trikaldarshi, the knower of the three aspects of time. Only Baba is called knowledgeful. And when Baba comes, the first chapter Baba teaches is not you go and become celibate today. Baba doesn't tell you that. What does Baba teach you? Baba teaches you are a soul. Your basic religion is purity. You are a pure soul. When you were in the soul world, you did not have a body and there was no lust there. When you came to play your part down here in heaven, birth did not take place through lust. It was nirvikari janam. There was no act of lust involved in childbirth. The procreation was pure. And Baba says that when you understand that you are a pure soul, you are pure as a soul in the soul world, and when you come to this world, to this planet, even then on this stage, 2500 years, you have led life without lust. And only after that you became body conscious and you started engaging in lust. Now let's understand this thing that in the scriptures we have stories where birth took place without lust, and there is this story where Kunti conceived Karna, yes, without lust. And there are many such stories. Even in Christianity, you say that Virgin Mary gave birth to Christ. And then you say that Abraham had two children. One was born by the promise of God and another was born of flesh. So Abraham came just 2500 years back. So at that time, impurity, lust was just coming into the picture. So one child of Abraham was born by the promise of God with purity, and then another was born of flesh. This is written in that scripture. So Baba says that you had a life where 2500 years you did not use the tools of lust, anger, ego, attachment and greed. And I remember that once I was watching this Shiv Mahapuran which was being telecasted, and then in that there was this image of Shankar and Parvati sitting face to face, and then there was this exchange of drishti and Kartikeya was conceived. And even when the portrayal of that act of conception is done, it is done in a manner which proves that there was no lust involved. And you see, all these mythological stories were written in the Copper Age. And in those stories, there was memory of what happened in the Golden Age or the Silver Age. And although not perfect, that memory somewhere God gave us an idea that there was a time when birth took place through pure methods. And Baba says that when you come to this realization that you are such a powerful soul that you don't need lust. Purity is your original nature, and lust is an acquired sanskar. It is something you acquired later, just like anger, just like greed. You acquired it. And it is not part of your nature, or it's not part of you. Then you don't have to struggle to, you don't have to struggle to suppress your physical desires. So you don't have to become pure through suppression. You become pure through shift in consciousness. And that's a very comfortable way to become pure. And you cannot do anything which involves suppression for very long. So you know that when you suppress, there is a spring and you just press it down, it bounces back with greater force. So if you're doing anything through suppression, you cannot do it for very long. And Baba in the Murli today uses one very simple phrase. He says, you cannot be successful without Shrimat. And what is success? Success means something that you can do naturally, sustainably, comfortably, forever. Yes, and that happens only when you shift your consciousness through Shrimat. What is Shrimat? Shrimat are two things. Shrimat is the things that Baba asks you to do and not do. Yes, the directions. And then Shrimat is also the truth that Baba tells you. Shrimat, the opinion of God, the truth that Baba gives. So Baba tells you that Kaam Mahashatru hai, lust is your greatest enemy. So you refrain from it. But this is the direction that Baba gives. But along with that, Baba gives you the truth. And the truth is, your original religion is purity. And it is when you become the embodiment of that truth, that you are able to follow Baba's direction very easily and very naturally. And this is why you don't have to stop yourself from living in your family or living with people, or even souls in female bodies and male bodies living together is not a problem, because you have overcome what's within you. You have overcome the sanskar of lust through your change of consciousness. And when you have done that, it doesn't matter where you live. You don't have to leave your house like a sannyasi and not blame your lust on the woman. So, in sannyas, it is said that Nari Nark ka dwar hai. So it is because of the woman that the man is not able to stay pure. And that is why they say you leave the woman and you go to the jungle. And there are so many practices in other religions, I don't know, but in Hinduism at least, there are so many practices where the woman is blamed for inciting the impurity in the man. And then it is always said that the man is entitled to stay pure and become a sannyasi, But the woman is the object of impurity and the enticer of impurity. So the woman cannot become pure. These are the belief systems. And even there was this row about a temple, and then women were not allowed to enter that temple, and there were certain belief systems behind that which were very similar to what I'm talking about. And Baba says that nobody is responsible for your impurity. You acquired this sanskar of lust because you became body conscious, and because you forgot who you are. You forgot that you are pure and you are powerful, and you can do everything with the power of purity. You don't need to resort to the body to procreate or to do anything. So Baba says that when you realize who you are and what your nature is, you can become free from lust, you can become pure very naturally. And Baba says anything that is natural can be sustained for very long, and this is why Baba says, now when you become pure, you continue to be pure for 2500 years. Yes, you don't have to again try to build this sanskar in Satyug. This sanskar gets carried with you for 2500 years. It becomes so natural. Consciousness shift ensures your shift in behavior for 2500 years. And this is how Baba introduces us to purity and helps us, lifts us to the path of purity. And this is very different from what other people do when they practice purity. So whether in Islam or in Buddhism or in Christianity or in Sannyas Dharam, whoever practices celibacy is not like we do, and they are not very successful in doing it. But we are. Okay? And then we remain productive also. Yes, we don't have to spend our whole life just being pure. You can be pure and productive because you are not burdened so much by being pure that you stop being productive, which happens in other places. That is, you think that being pure is such a big task and it requires so much of effort that you can't do anything else. And here being pure becomes the foundation for being more and more productive, and being so productive that you create a pure world. So this is the difference. Is it clear? Yes? Okay, so this is how a shift in consciousness brings about a shift in action. And those who don't come to Baba, those who don't learn from Baba, those who don't study the Murli, they never come to this place of shift in consciousness. Nowhere on earth are you told that you were a deity and you were without a body and your nature is purity. Nobody teaches you this except Baba. So that consciousness shift is not possible without Baba. This is something that we have to have very much clarity about. And then there is something that Baba says, and Baba says today that you children know that only the one is God, your Father, and so the Father would have mercy for everyone. There are so many human beings, there are so many insects, etc. also. There are a few human beings. Where? In the golden age. So here, too many human beings and too many problems, too many viruses, too many bacteria, too many insects. Yes, everything is too many. And there in the golden age, there are few human beings. And so there must also be fewer species of everything. So human beings are less, then all species of every insect and everything is less. There isn't any rubbish in the golden age. There are so many types of illnesses that continue to emerge, for which they also continue to invent drugs. Okay? According to the drama plan, they continue to acquire many types of skills. All of those skills belong to human beings, but what is the skill of the Father from beyond this world? It is said to the Father, O purifier, come and purify our souls. Now, what does Baba want to say in these lines? Baba says that, you know what human beings are doing? Human beings are busy creating problems and solving the very problems they are creating. Okay? So, you first create the problem and then you solve the very problem you've created, and then you don't bash yourself for creating the problem, but you applaud yourself for solving the problem, and it gives you greater incentive to create more problems and solve more of them. And what do I mean by that? It simply means, see, if you look at all the technology we have developed, it is basically treating the problems that we have created in the first place. Now you look at the air conditioner. You are doing everything that is giving rise to greenhouse emissions. Yes, the greenhouse effect, and it is raising the temperature of the planet, and you are engaging in so many activities which are adding to that, right? And the air conditioner is also one of them. So first you raise the temperature, and then you lower the temperature, and then you profit out of lowering the temperature, and this gives you an incentive to raise the temperature further and then lower it further. And this is how it's going on. You look at the refrigerator, you look at the air conditioner. They are creating the same problem they are solving. And the problem never gets solved. You create medicines for one illness, and that medicine is the source of 10 other illnesses. And then you keep patting yourself on the back for creating medicines, but then why did you need the medicine in the first place? Because you are creating the illness in the first place. And Baba says, this is the skill of human beings. This is how skilled we are at creating problems and then solving them, and then patting ourselves in the back for solving the very problems we created, and having an incentive to create more problems which we can solve. And Baba says, I don't do things like you do. I finish the source of all problems. And what is the source of all problems? The source of all problems is impurity. Impurity is the reason. See, body consciousness and impurity is the reason for lust, greed, attachment, ego. And do you know why the whole planet is so burdened? The whole planet is burdened by human greed, human attachment, human ego, and human lust, which cannot be fulfilled even when the whole planet is trying to satisfy you. And we are over consuming, we are exploiting the natural reserves. We are, and I don't know even if right now even exploitation explains it. Exploitation also looks like a small word. Yes, we have abused the whole planet like anything. And why? Because we are trying to fill our lust, greed, attachment, and ego through the whole planet, which cannot get quenched in this way. And in that attempt, we have exploited every resource possible and we have put so much burden on the planet. And then Baba says, then the 5 elements are backfiring and there is an imbalance in nature, and then we are trying to solve it. We are not trying to change ourselves, we are trying to solve the problems externally, which is not going to happen. So Baba says, I don't approach the problems like you do. What I do is I make you pure. And when you become pure, you realize that you are pure. You don't need people, places, things, and sensual pleasure. Once you understand you are a happy and blissful soul, and pleasure is overrated, you don't need pleasure, then the whole world which is trying to bring pleasure to you can just rest. And then nature can thrive and the 5 elements can be easy and they can be on their own and they can bloom and flourish. And Baba says, this is how I solve the problem. And yesterday, there was this discussion that Bhai had initiated, and in that discussion, we were thinking about Satyug and what happens in Satyug and what doesn't happen in Satyug. And mostly when we talk about Satyug, we think about Satyug not having vices. So there are no vices in Satyug. Yes, but sometimes we are given a task that you behave all through the day as if you are in Satyug. Okay? And then you understand that you can't get angry, you can't engage in lust, you can't be greedy, you can't complain, criticize, there cannot be attachment, or you don't have to behave egoistically. So you understand what not to do. Yes? But then what is Satyug? Satyug is a place where you have everything, but you don't need sensual pleasure. And if you look at how we are today, our whole life is spent in jumping from one sensual pleasure to another. Yes, first you want to calm your senses through sleep. That is sensual pleasure, extra sleep. Yes, neend ka sukh. Yes, we all want to have sensual pleasure of sleep. And then we want to have sensual pleasure of food. And then we want to have sensual pleasure of seeing something, hearing something, talking something, gossip, company. All of this is sensual pleasure. And we spend so much of our time, energy, wealth, thought after this. And if you look at the whole day, all our time, thought, energy, and wealth is spent in creating, mechanisms which will keep us sensually fulfilled and keep us in sensual pleasure. And what if you just stopped doing that and you felt happy and fulfilled all the time? Then you could be so productive. And today, when you try to spend a day in Satyugi awareness, that is the most productive day you can have, because when your time, thought, energy, and money is saved from lustful activities and pleasure-seeking activities, you have a lot of time, thought, energy, and money. And then when you have a heart full of compassion and a heart full of concern and care for world benefit, then you will use your day very productively. You will use your time, thought, wealth, and energy very productively. So this is what Satyugi consciousness can do in Sangam Yuga. And Baba says, this is how a pure soul behaves. A pure soul doesn't invest all their time, thought, and energy into becoming pure. But once you realize you're pure, you spend all your time, thought, energy, and wealth in Vishwa Kalyan, in making the world a better place to live in. Okay, does that make sense? So this is what Baba says today, that I don't approach the problem and the solution the way you do. I do it very differently by making you pure. And then in the Murli, Baba says that at the time of listening to this knowledge, some people nod in agreement, some just sit like crazy people. Yes, so just see how you sit in the class. Do you respond? Do you not respond? If you respond, see, if something enters your intellect, there will be an expression. If there is no expression, nothing is entering your buddhi. The face is the index of the mind. So how you sit in the class speaks a lot about whether you're getting it or not. Okay, so we should learn how to sit in the class with our buddhi open, and when we sit like that, then we will be nodding and we will smile at the right place, we will think at the right place, there will be some expression on your face. And then there are some who sit like, it puts me into doubt whether what I'm saying is making sense or not. So Baba says you have to sit properly, and then there are others who don't even care to switch on their video. That's another thing, okay? So Baba says the Father tells you such good points, and so while listening to him, you automatically nod your heads. Baba says, I am the ocean of knowledge, and I am telling you things that should make you nod your head, okay? Then Baba today, another thing that Baba says is, in the slogan, one who knows the significance of a gathering experiences safety for himself in a gathering. So are you somebody who chooses to have a lonely existence, or do you choose to be in a gathering? Yes, so this is something you need to ask yourself today. And when I was not in Gyan, I was a person who didn't like it with people. I didn't like to socialize very much. And if you today ask me, I cannot visualize my life without 500 members of a family. So now I have this spiritual family, and I cannot visualize my life without each member of my family. And I have understood, gathering means sangathan. Yes, this power that you belong to a family. And once you understand that you want to be part of a sangathan, you understand the importance of a sangathan, and a Sangathan is very important because what you cannot do alone can be done in a Sangathan. Yes, one finger cannot do much, but a hand can. And you just need to continue to be one finger, but you need to be with all the other four. And Baba says, when you want to be part of a Sangathan, being a part of a Sangathan is a powerful act. Why are families breaking up today? Because of lack of power. If you can't tolerate, if you can't accept, if you can't adjust, if you can't deal with the differences between you and the other person, then you can't be part of a Sangathan. So Baba says, you need to up your game, you need to be very powerful. You know, when you understand the power of a Sangathan, you have to cooperate, you have to adjust, you have to tolerate, and then you have to be part of the Sangathan, and that will give you a lot of strength and it will enable you to do many things which you can't do alone. Okay, so those who understand this importance choose to be part of the Sangathan. Okay, Om Shanti.